In today's fast-paced real estate landscape, success demands more than surface-level expertise. It requires insight, adaptability, proven strategies, discipline, and the ability to take risk. The Agent Brew podcast blends candid conversations with wisdom from industry leaders who've walked the path before you. Think of us as your strategic pit stop to fuel your real estate journey. Welcome to our viewers and listeners. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode where we will explore and navigate through our guest's unique journey in the real estate industry. We welcome to the Agent Brew Matthew Cohen of Brown Harris Stevens here in Manhattan, New York. Thank you for joining us, Matthew.
Thank you for having me, Eric.
So I'm eager to have everybody hear your story, but first, because we're friends, so let's tell everybody how we know one another. And I was thinking back, I guess I've known you for so long, I almost don't remember, but it occurred to me, did Perul introduce us?
I actually think we met for the first time 12 years ago at the Rebney Gala for where I won Rebney Rookie of the Year.
That's right. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I almost forgot about that. I don't know why I was thinking it was a little bit later, but
We were reintroduced by Perul.
that's right. Okay, because I knew Perul had some part of the story, and then I remember you through the years just always with Vince Rocco's podcast of being that steady booming voice each week. So we're honored to have you now come onto our podcast at the Agent Brew, and let's dive in. Well, I guess if you could start with your elevator pitch first, what is the snapshot of you and your business today? And then we'll walk back how it all began.
Sure. I mean, my business today is, just like always, kind of working everywhere in Manhattan and Brooklyn. I have a great team of 5 people. We are, always busy, thankfully, knock on wood, I always like to say. It takes a village, and, it's a big change from when I started almost 13 years ago when I came into the business from investment banking and was hoping to just make enough money in a year for my rent.
So, okay, you bring up what you did right before, but where were you born and where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was actually born and raised on the Upper West Side of New York. So
One of the few people that actually still live in their hometown and able to do real estate. Lucky you.
yeah, one of the rarities. I always say I made some moves back and forth, but ended up here and will always be home.
That's fantastic. So you just mentioned investment banking prior to real estate. What was that catalyst that procured you to get into real estate?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up in a commercial real estate family, and they always wanted me to join that side of the business, but it didn't really appeal to me. And actually, a fun fact about me is that my grandfather, who really helped raise me alongside my parents, he kind of jump-started my passion for the business because he used to walk me around the city, and we would walk around Central Park West, and he would point out all the architecture, and he would say, in another world, I could afford these things. And so I always wanted to get into the business, but, unfortunately, I didn't have the money, the backing. So I went straight into investment banking out of college. And after almost a year of doing it, I had an opportunity to get into the business. And I thought to myself, I'm 22 years old. Why not take a risk?
That's great. And where did you start your career at?
So I actually started at a firm that no longer exists that we all know of called Town. And
Oh, right.
yeah, I was there for a bit. And then after a while working there, I went to Core, owned by Sean Osher.
Right.
And in its heyday, I always say, when Core was an incredible place, and Michael Graves and Frederick Eklund and Vicky Barron, Emily Baer, we were all there, and it was a really successful place to be. And I was there for almost 8 years, and
Wow.
since then I've been at Brown Harris Stevens for 4.5 years.
So when you started, did you mentor with somebody or were you always on your own?
So I had a mentor who really brought me into the business, who was one of the top three agents in the entire industry at the time. But another fun fact is that I worked with him for only 2 months. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I actually, a lot of people don't know this, but because it was such a short stint, but he sold me like the salesperson he is, and I give him a lot of credit, but he wanted it to be a little shark-like, and I never wanted to be like that. I wanted to be in this business the right way and be a good person, and I thought that there was success around a lot of brokers who were very salesy and not doing it the right way, that there was a window or a hole, would you say, in the market to be a good, genuine person and successful in that right. And that's kind of what I left him to do. And I think I'm doing it.
it's a service industry and when people have the opportunity to choose, oh, there's some resale lines that are all in the same line, they're going to pick which agent they're going to want to work with to get a deal done instead of, if you're crabby and known not to work well with others. I'm so glad you highlight that as part of your journey because it's a differentiator. And you've always been known as somebody that is good to work with and a deal maker. And it's just we need more people like you in our local market. So let's do a little deeper dive as far as um, are there any particular wins over your 13 years? You focused on several different things and some new development, but what were some big wins in your mind that you saw were game changing?
Honestly, I think there were three moments in my 13-year career so far that really stick out to me. One was breaking 100 million in sales when I was 26 years old. Was really exciting. I guess I should say four because that also catapulted me to the top 100 in New York City, which was exciting at 26. I was the youngest person to ever do that. Um, the next one would be breaking 1 billion in sales in my career, which I did last year, which was very exciting. That was definitely a milestone that I cherish, and again, it takes a village, but it's a lot of hard work and passion that went behind that, and I definitely don't take it lightly. And the most recent one was only 5 months ago, was really starting my own big team. I always had two people working for me for the last basically 9 years. But, 5 months ago, I took it on myself to have a much bigger team. And now it's six of us, and it's really special. And it's a whole new chapter that I'm just so excited about.
That's great. Congratulations. So we talked about some wins. What about some of those losses or any, really transformational that you turned into a win?
Yeah, I would say it's hard to think of one exactly. I think if you ask any broker in the business, especially the top ones, while there are great wins, it is definitely an industry of highs and lows. And, you can't win everything. I always say that there's enough business to go around in our industry. And, just because have lost listings to other fantastic brokers, I'll win other ones against the same fantastic brokers. And, no same, client, seller, buyer is alike. And some, personalities just mesh better with others.
Understood. I'm curious to know also, how do you view technology, and is it a major component in your business model as far as your day to day? Are you using AI compared to say just a couple years ago? Is it that you have your team and their systems are your special sauce? That does it include that tech component?
So I would say partly. I've always joked that I'm not a very good millennial because I don't take advantage of technology as much as I should and could. I think just growing up in the business, I do love the classic approach to our profession and the personality and just connecting with a human. But having said that, I've never had Twitter and I've never had Snapchat, but I really love Instagram, and I've always utilized Instagram to the most of my ability my whole career. It's definitely not, I've always been a huge supporter of don't have two different accounts, keep it on one. I am very real on my Instagram. I show when things are great. I show when things are not great. I love putting my personal side on there with my friends and my family who are very important to me, but also, I love sharing my wins in real estate and my amazing clients and what I get to help them buy and sell and the amazing properties. And it's been really great to me, not only for enjoyment, to be honest, but also, getting clients. A lot of people reach out to me who I haven't been in touch with in forever, whether it's high school or college or, even just friends of friends, and they see what a great time, it sounds so corny, but what a great time I'm having doing what I'm doing. And, it spreads and people reach out to me and it's really nice.
Well, what about passions outside of real estate? Are there any sports that you like to participate in?
So I was actually, before I went to college, I was actually training to be a professional golfer. So
Really?
yes, I'm a big golfer. I went to college for it and I still play today. And it's also great for clients, and, I love playing with my clients. And, outside of that, I am a big tennis player, big skier. I've always been competitive, but in a nice way, in a good way. And outside of that, and I play pickleball, true. I do. But I will say I haven't played it as much recently because it's not great for your tennis game. But honestly, outside of that, I love spending time with my family and whatever I can do, whether it's sports or just being with them, that's what really fulfills me.
I have to say, it's just always, it brings such a smile to my face because I love my parents dearly and I love spending time with them. I love it when you're with your mom and dad, and the Instagram posts. It's just so warm and fuzzy, and it just everybody is just eluding so much or emoting so much joy and happiness, and it's just I wish more people had that kind of connection with their parents.
Yeah, I'm an only child, so naturally my parents became two of my best friends. And, I always say that I want to have a child because I want to do what my parents did for me, which was they were just such amazing and supportive parents. And I have them to thank for so much of what I have and who I am, to be honest. So yeah, I love them.
Oh, that's great. Um, let's play the gratitude game, but with a little twist of coffee. With the gratitude game, it's the rose, thorn, bud. You might have played it before. And we like to do it with a little coffee twist, whereas we have the aroma, the brew, the coffee grinds, and then the fresh beans. So, Matt, like the invigorating aroma of fresh coffee being brewed in the morning, what is a win for you recently? Or what is that moment when you wake up in the morning that energizes you? Like that just is really getting you out of bed?
Well, I actually just sold my own personal apartment and I moved back downtown after trying the Upper East Side for a little bit. And I just moved to an incredible apartment on the 65th floor of a new building. And so I would definitely say that in the morning, I typically get up at 6:30 or 7, and seeing the reflections of the sunrise on the buildings of Manhattan is extremely inspiring and gets my day going. A win that I had recently was honestly just going on a pitch with one of the people that works on my teams and winning it with them. It's such I love it's great to have success on your own, but there's nothing like collaborating and having that success together. It really warms my heart, which again I know sounds corny, but I mean it.
No, no, it's really important that it's all about sharing. And I've long said information should be shared, not hoarded, and just like books. So good for you. What about now? We're going to move on to the brew, the second rose. What brings you deeper joy? One could say, what is your why?
So, I mean, we mentioned my parents, so
Hmm.
definitely my parents, but I guess going even deeper, my being an only child, my closest friends are not just friends, they really are family. They, the term that people use these days, chosen family, they really are. And I lean on them in good times and bad times. And especially recently with the move, moving is not easy. And moving after, being in an apartment for many years is not easy. So I definitely leaned on my chosen family outside of my actual family.
That's great. Now, the coffee grounds. What challenge or difficulty are you currently facing or experiencing? That is just like a thorn in your side. It's more annoying than anything, but it's causing you some hesitation, uh, either in work life or personal life.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean a thorn in I think everyone's side right now is the market. The market is definitely challenging in many different ways, but for me what is challenging right now is that I am very honest with sellers always and just honest with everyone and a lot of brokers are telling sellers right now prices that are too high and I'm losing a lot of listings to those brokers right now. But I always say what will happen in 6 or 7 months is that I will most likely be getting a call from that seller saying that my price was right the first time and they appreciated my bluntness.
That's great. What is the old saying? You want to be the second wife and the third broker?
Yes. And honestly, these days you might want to be the third wife and the fourth
Yeah.
broker.
Very true. So finishing up the gratitude game with the fresh beans, like the bud, that anticipation of something great that's about to happen. Do you have a current project that you're about to launch or a listing?
I have, well, both professionally and personally, I would say I have a project. Professionally, we have a few new developments that we're working on that are coming to
Mm.
fruition this year, which is very exciting that we are excited to launch. And personally, I plan on buying a new apartment in Greenwich Village and completely renovating it over 2025 and hopefully not, but probably 2026. So projects in both arenas.
Wow. Well, that's a huge undertaking, and we certainly wish you luck with that. My favorite part of the show is this last part, and it's if you could give your young agent self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't become a real estate broker.
Oh,
I
come on.
I
It
think
hasn't been that bad.
I think the advice I would give myself is actually the advice just that I give to most young agents, which is, this is a very hard profession and it is one that takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of hard work and passion and it is not like the TV shows. And so if you think it's going to be cool and fun and you know business is just going to come to you and you're on your own schedule, no. The realities are you work all the time. You are on your client's schedule. So you're not making your own schedule, you're forming your schedule around every client you have and you are grinding. And there are very happy moments and very successful moments, but there are also down moments and low moments. And you just have to be prepared for all of it and take it in stride.
So, what would you to share with our audience? what would you recommend? How should one deal with the challenge of, really your life becomes your business. And so, many times you lose control of having control of that evening where you plan to be with family or you plan to be with friends and everything gets changed at the last minute. How have you dealt with that over your career? Or do you not and you just go straight to the appointment?
It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. I have, there have been times where I am not balanced in my personal and professional life, but it is I always say it's, you have to take it in stride. You have to learn how to really come to the business in a sense of with your sense of hard work, but not taking over your life. And it takes some time to realize that balance, but every successful agent finds it and finds a time. I always say the most important thing you have to do is do one thing for yourself every day. And every agent finds that at a different time of the day and in a
Hmm.
different way, but everyone gets there and you just need to have something that works for you.
So, do you have a set schedule which you do every week, or a type of habit for each time of day?
Absolutely not. I know some people do. I just think that that's unrealistic. I think one of the best parts of this job is that it is very different every day. And so, because of that, the only thing that stays the same is the time that I wake up. And then from there, I decide, some days are workout days, some days are meditation days, some days are going for a walk, but I always try and do something before the day gets busy. And then once it's busy, you can't, it's hard to kind of control it personally. So you have to wait till it's over. And for me, that's when I go to sleep.
Got it. Got it. Well, Matt, we are so happy that you came and visited us on the Agent Brew for season one. We look forward to hearing about your new opportunities that are hopefully coming down your way, and we wish continued success to your entire team. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the show and I'm so excited for you as well.
Thank you. We conclude each episode with a positive quote. This week's quote happens to be one of my personal mantras that I try to live by, and has been with me for decades. It comes from my motivational guru, Zig Ziglar, and he says, "You will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want." So we want to give a special thank you to Matthew Cohen of Brown Harris Stevens for joining us today on this episode. I'm Eric Zollinger of Realty Co., reminding you it's a great day for real estate. The Agent Brew podcast is brought to you by Realty Co. Realty Co. is your partner in real estate, bringing you game-changing benefits and services to empower your business. Visit realtyco.com for more information.